I spend way too much time thinking about this topic, but I think first, for me, and something I always asked myself when I was a trade compliance officer, I would see these guidances from the regulators that are telling me to take a risk-based approach. And it's like, okay, what does that even mean? How are
Yeah.
you supposed to take a risk-based approach if you don't actually know what your risks are, right? And, we do risk assessments, and quite often what I see in the industry is, maybe someone spends 6 months doing a risk assessment, and then the actual risk assessment becomes the product itself, and then
Mm.
they start doing the risk assessment again, and we forget that that was supposed to be the starting point,
Oh.
right? So I think for me, where I really think about how can we deal with the chaos and how can we get a little bit of control over this chaos, it really comes down to asking ourselves, what is the operational root cause for our risk exposure? First, we need to
Mhm.
understand, where is our real risk exposure, because sometimes it's not where we expect it to be. So if I do a traditional risk assessment, and let's say I have military items, I've got, US military items in
Yep.
Birmingham, UK, right? And I think, okay, Birmingham, UK, it's my highest risk location because I've got ITAR goods there for a joint project with
Mhm.
the UK. But if I have five of the world's top ITAR experts sitting in Birmingham, UK, it might be, from an impact perspective, high risk if I do something wrong, but
Yeah.
I probably actually have a well-oiled trade compliance
Mhm.
machine. Whereas if I have, one smaller plant, in Germany, they don't do a lot of business, but I've got one dual-use item that's maybe getting circumvented through a distributor to Russia or
Mm.
Iran. That is unbelievably risky for me from a legal perspective, but it's never coming up on a traditional risk assessment. So these are the kinds of things that, if we're going to switch to a more proactive approach,
Mhm.
I recommend, of course, we have our approach at SEIA, but I think anyone in any organization can take this from a philosophical point of view, is first you need to start by understanding the risk exposure that you have. And for that, you actually have to have holistic business transparency.